Students, today we will start unit 3, which is acids, bases and salts. So first I'll give you introduction about acids, bases and salts, and then we'll go into details of these acids, bases and salts. So first, what is an acid? Now student, the word acid is derived from a Latin word acidus, meaning sour to taste. So acids are therefore substances which are sour to taste. Now, on the basis of chemical properties, we say acid is a substance which contains ionizable hydrogen, that is, any substance which can give H positive is called an acid. Here I am quoting an example, hydrochloric acid. Now students, in aqueous solution, hydrogen chloride ionizes to give H positive and chloride ion. So therefore we can say that HCl is an acidic compound. Now students, let me introduce bases. So what are bases? Now a base first, on the basis of physical property, base is a substance which is soapy to touch. So generally bases are soapy to touch. So that means they have a slippery touch. And on the basis of chemical composition or chemical property, base is a substance which is either a metallic oxide, or a metallic hydroxide, or aqueous ammonia. So base is a substance which is a metallic oxide. So when I say metallic oxide, it means oxides of metals like calcium oxide, sodium oxide, etc. These are all bases. Now metallic hydroxides such as hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, these are also bases. And aqueous ammonia means ammonium hydroxide. So ammonium hydroxide solution is also a base. So bases are substances which are soapy to touch, or which are either metallic oxides, metallic hydroxides, or an aqueous ammonia solution. Now students, I'll give a brief introduction of salts. What do you mean by salts? Now, salt is a chemical compound. Generally, salt is an ionic compound which is formed by a combination of acid and base. So, what is salt? Salt is generally ionic compound which is formed by the combination of acid and base. Combination of acid and base. Now for example, look, hydrogen chloride or HCl, when combines with NaOH, we get sodium chloride and water. So students, HCl is an acid, sodium hydroxide is a base, and when acid and base combine we get an ionic compound. Now this compound is ionic, this is sodium chloride, so this ionic compound is a salt, and then we have water also. So what is salt? Salt is an ionic compound which is formed by combination of acid and base. There are more examples, like suppose I have acid HNO3 nitric acid, and when it is reacted with ammonia solution, that is ammonium hydroxide, which is a base, we get an ionic compound, ammonium chloride, and this, since it is ionic compound, it is a salt. So any compound which is formed by the action of acid on base is called salt. So students, this was a brief introduction about acids, bases and salts. Now we'll discuss acids in details. So the next topic is acids. Now, what is an acid, students? I've told you, acid, actually the word acid is derived from a Latin word acidus, meaning sour to taste. Meaning sour to taste. So this is actually on the basis of physical property. So any substance which is sour to taste can be regarded as an acid. But students, let me tell you one very important thing. Some acids are highly corrosive and they are therefore very harmful. So therefore, acids should not be tasted. Should not be tasted. But since acids are sour to taste, so you must know this, that they are sour, but I would not recommend you to taste or touch an acid, as they may be harmful or may be corrosive. Now, since acids are sour substances, many food items or many fruits, many vegetables, their sour nature is because of presence of acid. For example, look, our vinegar, हिंदी में जिसको हम सिरका बोलते हैं, contains acid, acetic acid. Now citrus fruits like lemon, orange, etc., they contain an acid, citric acid. Then rancid butter. Now the characteristic taste in rancid butter is because of an acid, butyric acid. Now apple contain acid, malic acid. Now your grapes, tamarind, etc., they also contain acid, which is tartaric acid. So similarly, there are many food items which contain acids. So their characteristic taste is because of acidic substances. Now student, I'll give you definition of an acid. So what is an acid? Now there are many concepts. First concept is Arrhenius concept. Now, what is Arrhenius concept? So students, listen carefully. According to Arrhenius concept, acid is a substance which gives hydronium ions on ionization in aqueous solution. So it's simply, we can say, according to Arrhenius concept, acid is a substance which gives hydronium ions in aqueous solution. So any substance which when dissolved in water, if produces hydronium ion, and students listen carefully, here it is very important to note that an acid is a substance which on ionization gives hydronium ion as the only cation. That means there should be no other positive ion. For example, look, HCl when dissolved in water undergoes ionization and it gives hydronium ion as the only cation. So therefore it is an acid. Sulfuric acid when undergoes ionization in water produces hydronium ions and therefore it is also regarded as an acid. So we have another example, nitric acid, because it also undergoes ionization in water and gives hydronium ion and nitrate ion as the anion. So any substance which on ionization produces hydronium ion, according to Arrhenius concept, is called an acid. Now there is another concept which is called Bronsted-Lowry concept. So the next we have Bronsted-Lowry concept. Students, according to Bronsted concept, an acid is a substance which gives proton, and proton here is H positive. So listen, according to Bronsted concept, any substance which is capable of donating a proton is called acid. So here medium water is not essential. मतलब ब्रॉन्स्टेड कॉन्सेप्ट के हिसाब से कोई भी सब्सटेंस जो प्रोटॉन दे सकता है, चाहे फिर मीडियम कोई भी हो, is called an acid, Bronsted acid. Like I'm giving you example, again HCl, water में आयनाइज करता है, and now students see this, water becomes hydronium ion. But look, जब water hydronium ion बना तो H positive दिया किसने? So here HCl is actually giving H positive and HCl itself becomes a chloride ion. So since HCl is giving proton to water, so that water becomes a hydronium ion, so we say HCl is an acid. Now we will discuss Lewis concept. Now, what is Lewis concept? So student, according to Lewis concept, now Lewis concept, an acid is a substance. So according to Lewis concept, acid is a substance which accepts a pair of electron. So any substance which can accept a pair of electron is also regarded as an acid. Now I'm giving you an example. I have boron trifluoride, and students, in boron trifluoride, look, Lewis dot structure of boron trifluoride is this. Now you see, boron has only 6 electrons around it. That means boron does not have has a complete octet. So therefore boron is electron deficient. Now whereas we know that in ammonia nitrogen has a lone pair. So here ammonia is capable of donating its electron pair on nitrogen, and boron trifluoride can accept. Since BF3 accepts an electron pair, we say BF3 is acid, whereas ammonia is a base. So any substance which accepts electron pair is called an acid, and hence we get a compound which is formed due to coordinate bond, but again in this coordinate bond formation, boron of boron trifluoride is accepting electron pair and therefore can be regarded as an acid. So we have three concepts of acids and bases: Arrhenius concept, Bronsted concept and Lewis concept. But students, let me tell you very clearly that in ICSE class 10 only Arrhenius concept is required, but for knowledge purpose I have given you other two concepts or definitions also. Now students will discuss classification of acids, means how acids are classified. And first classification is based on, so we have now classification of acid, and the first classification is based on the source. So based on the source, acids are of two types. First type, organic acids, and the second type, they are called inorganic or inorganic acids, or they are also called mineral acids. They are also called mineral acids. Now first, what are organic acids? Organic acids. Now organic acid students, organic का मतलब ही होता है anything which is derived or which is obtained from living beings like plants or animals. So what are organic acids? So students, organic acids are compounds which are obtained from plants and animals, So any acidic compound which is obtained from a plant or animal is called organic acid. I'm giving you some examples of organic acids like formic acid. Now the formula of formic acid is HCOOH. Then another example is acetic acid. Acetic acid is CH3COOH. Then I have another example, oxalic acid, which is COOH, twice actually, COOH and then again COOH. So these are some examples of organic acids. And look students, there is a common feature among these compounds, and it is the presence of a functional group, that is COOH. So all organic acids, students listen or look, all organic acid contain a characteristic functional group which is called carboxylic group. So all organic acids contain carboxylic group, which means that carbon is the essential element of organic acids, means organic acids mein carbon hoga hi. Now you can see all these compounds are carbon compounds. So carbon is the essential element of organic acids. Now next point about organic acids is generally these are weak acids. Now what do you mean by weak? So students, weak here means that these do not undergo complete ionization. These do not undergo complete ionization in aqueous solution. These do not undergo complete ionization in aqueous solution. मतलब इनका जो डिग्री ऑफ आयनाइजेशन है या डिग्री ऑफ डिसोसिएशन है बहुत कम होता है. Now I'm taking an example of acetic acid, and we know that acetic acid in water undergoes ionization. It undergoes ionization, and upon ionization it produces acetate ion and hydronium ion as the only cation. So students, say initially if I assume that I have taken, say I'm taking 100 molecules, so मैंने शुरू में से 100 molecules लिए. अच्छा, शुरू का मतलब है अभी आयनाइजेशन नहीं हुआ है, सो सॉल्यूशन में देयर आर नो एसीटेट और नो हाइड्रोनियम आयंस. बट लुक, व्हेन एसिटिक एसिड अंडरगोज आयनाइजेशन, आई हैव सेड दैट दे अंडरगो आयनाइजेशन बट ओनली टू अ स्मॉल एक्सटेंट. सो इफ द डिग्री ऑफ डिसोसिएशन व्हिच वी डिनोट बाय अल्फा is say 5%, it means that only 5% will undergo ionization. So since I have taken 100 molecules, only 5 molecules undergo ionization, means 95 acetic acid molecules remain undissociated. Now students, since 5 molecules are undergoing ionization, that means you will get only 5 acetate and 5 hydronium ions. Why 5? Because one acetic acid molecule produces one acetate and one hydronium ion. Since only 5 are getting dissociated or ionized, so we get only 5 acetate and 5 hydronium ions. So now you see students, this solution contains what? Ions as well as unionized molecules. So this is very important point to note, that aqueous solution of a weak acid, aqueous solution of a weak acid contains what? Ions as well as molecules. Ions as well as molecules. So this is a very very important point, that एक weak acid का जो aqueous solution होगा उसमें ions और molecules होंगे, but look, the concentration of ions will be very less. Why? Because they are weak and they form only very few ions. So this is about organic acid, students. Now one important thing is that carbonic acid, students, carbonic acid is H2CO3. Now students, जब हम इसका केमिकल फॉर्मूला देखते हैं, then we see that there is carbon. So बहुत से स्टूडेंट्स को लगता है कार्बोनिक एसिड एक ऑर्गेनिक एसिड है, but let me tell you students, this is not correct to say that carbonic acid is organic acid. Though let me tell you, it is weak acid, बट फिर भी हम इसको ऑर्गेनिक नहीं बोल सकते. जबकि इसमें कार्बन भी है, फिर भी ऑर्गेनिक नहीं बोल सकते. क्यों नहीं बोल सकते इसको ऑर्गेनिक? बिकॉज कार्बोनिक एसिड इज obtained from minerals. It is not obtained from plants or animals. It is obtained from minerals, generally carbonate ores. वहां से आपको carbonic acid मिलेगा. So since it is obtained from mineral, it is not regarded as an organic acid. Rather we say it is a weak mineral acid. So this is very very important to note, that carbonic acid is not an organic acid, although it has carbon. But students, it does not contain carboxyl group, so it is not organic, and most importantly it is not obtained from plants or animals. It is obtained from minerals. So we consider it as a weak mineral acid, not organic acid. Students, now next we have mineral acids. So what are mineral acids? As the name indicates, mineral acids are those which are, now mineral acids are acids which are obtained from minerals, So these are acids which are obtained from minerals. Now, that is, they are obtained from what? Non-living matter. And that is why they are called inorganic acids, or simply they are called mineral acids. Now students, inorganic acids mein examples we have HCl, we have sulfuric acid, we have nitric acid, we have phosphoric acid, okay? And we have even carbonic acid. I've told you is also a mineral acid, as the source from which they are derived is not organic. Now students, unlike organic acids, all these acids except carbonic acids, all these acids are what? These are strong acids. These are strong acids. Now when we say these are strong acids, it means these undergo almost complete ionization. These undergo almost complete ionization in aqueous solution. For example, look, HCl, when we dissolve it in water, it ionizes to give hydronium ion and chloride ion. So students, again here I am taking 100 molecules initially. Water generally we take in excess, and initially there is no ionization, so that means there are no hydronium ions and chloride ions. But when ionization of HCl is complete, finally we will not have any HCl molecule, rather we will have ions only. We will have 100, say, chloride ions and 100 hydronium ions. Why 100? Because it undergoes almost complete ionization, means it undergoes 100% ionization. So here the resulting solution after dissociation contains only ions. There are ions. So this is a very important point, that the aqueous solution of mineral acid, aqueous solution of a mineral acid contains ions only. Now one more important point, listen students, generally we say carbon is essential element of all organic acid, but look, a mineral acid generally they do not contain carbon, but again we have an exception. Carbonic acid, firstly, unlike other mineral acid, it is what? Weak. It is weak. And one more thing, that mineral acids generally do not contain carbon, but carbonic acid contains carbon. You can see. So carbonic acid is a very important example. We consider it as a mineral acid, not organic, but unlike other mineral acids, it is weak. It is weak and contains a carbon. Thank you students.